Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Heart to Heart with myself, DeDe, and my handsome co-host,
Donte.
So for those of you who watched our last video, we talked a little bit about our first date, pretty much how we got to know a little bit about each other and things like that, and how we went to the movie theaters, what we did after the movie theaters, as far as like talking, learning more about one another, and then what else did we talk about?
You know, pretty much how I wowed you and how I had you, you know what I'm saying, in amazement of me, you know what I'm saying, and everything like that. We just talked about pretty much how, you know, you knew I was the one from the first date.
Okay. And from there, we actually said we were going to also come back and start talking about how we went through the dating process and now leading up to being engaged and soon to be getting married. So this is pretty much why we're going through like the different dates that we had, why it was important that we had these different dates, and then also just letting you know more down the line like about our relationship, the things that we do to keep our relationship strong and growing, and also the things that we do for fun to keep the excitement in the relationship. So for now, we're going to jump right in and start talking more about our second date.
Yeah, so on that second date, I remember we went to the good old Friday. Was it Fridays? It was Fridays, right?
Yeah, so TGI Fridays.
TGI Fridays is this lovely restaurant that serves a good variety of food, from anything that goes from your nice little burgers to your fries to your chicken to your chicken wings to what else they got up in there? They got a little bit of everything. A little bit of sandwiches, just a good American food. And yeah, so, you know, that whole day we was texting, you know, we was just texting back and forth because we was really enjoying each other, enjoying life, getting to know each other more and things in that nature. And then she hit me with the okie doke from when we went to the movies the first time. She was like, man, I think I'm gonna go get something to eat. So she was planning on going to the restaurant, which I took the hint again as if maybe she want me to go get something to eat with her. So I said, hey, it'll be nice if you invite your BFF. Hint, hint. And she was like, okay, yeah, you can come, you can do that. And so we end up that's how we end up going to TGI Fridays. When I agreed to meet her at the restaurant, she was already headed. She was already darting to the restaurant. So I had to like let her know, like, now you gotta give me a little bit more time out in that Virginia world. Meanwhile, she's already there waiting for me. So I was like, yeah, I can't move that fast. We got there. We got to TGI, like I said, it was already kind of late. It was like around 9-10 o'clock when we ended up eating. And we ended up sitting down. First of all, we ended up sitting by ourselves. Like, we was like, you had the bar area. Everybody was like in the bar area. They sit us by ourselves away from the bar area. We were literally, we just had our own little area to ourselves, which was nice because it seemed like we was in some VIP type.
It was very intimate.
It was very intimate. So we was just chilling, and we was getting to know each other and just having these good, fresh conversation, and we spent the night. We were definitely there for a long time. So I guess that's a good thing because again, we really enjoyed each other's company that much.
I think it also goes to show that we wanted to spend some like more personal time together. So like on our first date, we was at the movies, so a public area, and then TGI Fridays, another public area. So I think it goes to show that we wanted some more like just personal time together to really be able to like talk. Like, we were able to talk at Fridays, but with all that was going on Fridays and things like that, like we did learn things about each other. But at the same time, I think we needed more of that like quiet space to really just build on that relationship.
So which leads us to our lovely third date, where we actually decided, because we was enjoying each other so much, we met up the day after our second date. We literally
what did you call it? Third date?
I call it the third day.
That's a tongue twister. Say it fast 3 times.
I know, right?
Third date.
I call it that because, again, the first 3 days of us knowing each other, we went on dates each of those days.
Yeah.
And the third date was even interesting. It was even more intriguing because for the third date, she actually came over to my place for the third date.
Yeah.
Which I knew was I guess you could call that a little dicey because we all only known each other for 3 days, and already I'm inviting her to the place. But I don't know, like it was just different. I guess because because the first 2 days went so well, and I was feeling like everything was going good at that point. And maybe we could save some money a little bit. I thought it would be a little more convenient for the both of us. She just came over the place.
And women, I'm sure you can relate with me on this, where you're like, okay, I'm going over to this guy's house. He's still a strange guy. Like, even though I was very comfortable with him and I had really good energy, really good vibes about him. But at the same time, this is a man, and you're trying to make sure that you look out for your best interest of the heart. So, yes, I did tell like someone, like my mom, like this is where I'm going. Here's the address and everything, just in case. But I had no concerns and no worries at all. And when I did go over his house or his apartment at that time, I had my dress on. I was ready, my favorite dress. And I just found out recently that that's another dress that you like, which is surprising because it's one of my favorite dresses actually. But I was happy to hear that it's something that he liked because I didn't know that when I wore it over there today. So
yeah, it was definitely one of my favorite dresses. If you ain't watched the last episode, I always love women in dresses. And on our very first date, she surprised me with a dress. So of course, I was already at all from day one. So when she came back on the third date, and I think it was coincidence because I don't think she knew quite at this point that I love. Yeah. So when she came out with the third day with the dress again, and it's funny I say third date, but it's really more like a third meeting because we didn't go nowhere.
We didn't go anywhere. It was still a date.
Yeah, but
a date in the house.
Yeah.
Didn't you cook for me or something? Did you cook? Maybe not.
Maybe not, because I remember that.
What did we eat?
But I think we just watched the movie. I think we just chillaxed. We just kind of talked.
We probably ate before I came over and stuff. Okay.
I remember we mainly just talked, and we probably watched the movie more than anything. I guess that was a day because we watched the movie.
Yeah.
It was like going to the movies, but it was like an in-house movie. But
So what did you get from our third date? Like, how did you feel like in that moment and even after? Because the third date is something I feel like I remember. Outside of the first date, our third date is what I remember the most because I was able to learn a lot about him. And when I say a lot, take it with a grain of salt because he was not an open book here. So I learned enough about him to kind of get to know his personality. But yeah, it's something I remember a lot very well, that third date. And I'll tell you why in a second, but I want to hear your thoughts first.
Well, I would say pretty much what you said about me is what I could say about you because I definitely learned a lot about you. Unlike me, I was kind of more still reserved on the third date for sure. Not that, again, I was definitely open and joking and everything, but as far as like opening up about me personally, like as far as deep stuff, I was a little bit more reserved on that side of things. But as far as you was definitely more of an open book and able to talk more as far as about personal things you was going through. Which was great to, get to know that side of you and, get to know you more on the personal level.
I would say what stood out to me about that day, I don't really remember much what stood out as far as like what he shared with me because he hardly shared anything. But what stood out to me about that day was that I remember sitting on his couch and, me just being open about everything. And he was sitting there, like literally sitting on the couch, like Indian style, his hand was like this. And he just looking at me, like staring. He was like real into it. You can tell his eyes like glazing. He's like, wow. He was so amused by me. And that's how I looked. The eyes like glossy and everything. They're so small, but I saw the gloss. And so he was just staring at me. And the reason that date stands out to me is because that was the first time any man really, I feel like, paid attention to me. Like, really listened to me. And, sometimes you say, people hear you, but they're not listening to you, or something like that. I felt like that with him. I felt like he actually was the reverse, or the opposite. He really was not only paying attention, but he was really listening to what I had to say. He heard me. He was able to respond to what I had to say, and it just felt very spitting. It's like a big laugh.
Okay.
And it just felt very warm, and
The spit?
I'm gonna get the video.
Sorry, I had to say that. Go ahead.
And it just felt very warm. Like, just, I don't know. Like, that's something I would never forget to this day, because I just remember, you can just tell. You can tell when someone's really into you. And and at that point, I knew, like, okay, this is someone that I can see myself going further with. This is someone that I know I would go further with. I'm really big on trying to speak things into existence. And I already knew that it was going to go far. I mean, I didn't know how far it would go, but I knew this was not going to be the end of it. I knew that this was not going to be like a casual thing and then, poof, out of nowhere, we're not friends anymore, not, talking to each other anymore, whatever. But I don't know. That moment really just meant a lot to me.